Now, DaBaby allegedly beat up a 65-year-old man so bad his tooth fell out. Not gonna say too much about that in the intro, so yeah, let's talk about it. Now, DaBaby, let's go again, I guess. This right here, I believe, is video number 500 of me talking about DaBaby getting accused of doing something violent. I'm saying accused because this story is a little bit different. We don't have video evidence of the ass beating in question. We only have the word of the alleged victim. So let's get into this story. So this story involves DaBaby allegedly doing something violent. We've seen that happen more times than I can count. The story involves a 65-year-old rental property owner by the name of Gary Pager. In February 2021, Gary Pager filed a lawsuit against DaBaby, claiming that DaBaby physically assaulted him by sucker punching him. The incident allegedly went down back in December the 2nd, 2020. What happened was this: DaBaby and his crew rented a home out in Cali, which Gary was the owner of. He was allegedly told that it was going to be a vacation spot for DaBaby and his guys. Before he rented out the property to DaBaby, he had him agree to the rules of the property in a rental agreement. Nothing too crazy, that's standard procedure. Sometime after he rented it out to DaBaby, Gary peeped a little something that he didn't like. DaBaby and his guys were apparently not following the rules of the property, which they had of course agreed to do. According to Gary in his lawsuit, he said that they had more than a dozen people at the property, and that's something that was against the property rules. Gary claims that he complained to DaBaby's team about this, and they allegedly brushed it off on December 2nd, 2020, and this is when shit hits the fan. Gary decided to take a little stroll out to the property. When he eventually arrived, he saw that they were shooting a music video at his property. DaBaby was of course there, along with a film crew and along with a bunch of other people. According to Gary, there was around 40 motherfuckers up in his spot. Obviously, this wasn't what the man agreed to. I would have probably had murder on my mind if I was him, but Gary's a decent man, so he's definitely better than me. Anyway, so he shows up and boom, he gets attacked. Check out this blurry video that I'm gonna play you right now. Sorry that I can't show the uncut video. Blame YouTube if anything.
Don't do it. What is he? Look, he charged me all the cash. He put his hands on him. It's on camera. It's on the good one. It's on.
So let me describe the video since I had to blur the majority of it. So there's a bunch of people standing around this red Ferrari or Lamborghini. No clue what it is. I think it's a Rari actually. One of DaBaby's guys charges at Gary and literally throws the old man on the ground as he's aggressively holding onto his arm. A couple seconds later, he's standing over him, still firmly gripping his arm, pushing him down, and that's when Stunnerfo Vegas, who was in a car, jumps out of it and intervenes. And just want to say shout out to Stunnerfo Vegas. He was the only person who stopped DaBaby's homie from possibly beating this poor old man into submission. After that, we see Gary Pager standing up and walking away. Looks like he was calling the cops at that point. DaBaby says a couple things, one of them being he put his hands on him. It's on camera. And that's the end of that. Now, what about the sucker punch Gary was alleged to? Now, there's no video of that happening, but Gary does claim that DaBaby sucker punched him in this lawsuit. Eventually, on December 2nd, he says he paid a visit himself and realized they were shooting a music video there with an entire film crew and a ton of other people around. Upwards of 40, he says, and Pager tried to shut the whole thing down by talking to DaBaby, and this is when the sucker punch comes in. That's when he claims he was attacked by someone in DaBaby's crew, part of which was caught on video. He says DaBaby ordered the guy off of Pager, but then allegedly sucker punched him in the face, knocking out his tooth. Now, DaBaby punching someone and knocking out their tooth would be child's play in comparison to what this man usually does. So for this one, I'm definitely Team Gary. All jokes aside, this is alleged since I haven't seen the video. Can't say that's what happened for sure, right? But here's the thing, man. We do see one of DaBaby's guys literally throwing the old man on the ground. Now, mind you, Gary is 65 years old. Obviously, he's not up in a nursing home yet, but this is not a 20 or 30-year-old man we're talking about, which makes this whole thing worse. DaBaby really is a menace, bro. And I'm not saying this because of this specific story, because we don't have video evidence of the allegation. I'm saying in general, DaBaby is a menace to society. I think we all know that at this point. There's 3 things in life that are guaranteed, okay? Death being the first one, taxes being the second, and you guessed it, DaBaby beating people up being the third. In this case, allegedly beating people up, but how far-fetched is it really? I mean, I can just see it in my imagination. DaBaby suddenly has a moment of rage, murder on his mind. He's angry. He's filled with a lot of anger like he usually is, and boom, he sucker punches Gary. Obviously, that's what my imagination is allegedly telling me. gotta make sure I don't end up like Tasha K out here. So allegedly, once again, at this point, man, I'm not sure what to make of DaBaby, but all I know is that this man, I don't think will be a free man for very long. I can actually see DaBaby serving time in prison with the direction he's headed. The thing about DaBaby is that he has a lot of money and a damn good legal team who at this point are probably sick of his bullshit, but they're too afraid to stop representing him because they might catch an ass beating themselves and perhaps a bullet to the leg. I guess anything can happen when you're in the proximity of DaBaby, right? So DaBaby, he's a wild guy and he's most definitely a menace. But yeah, DaBaby really is a menace, man. What can I say? Obviously, we've all known this though. This is nothing new, just another day for DaBaby. Anyway, any thoughts on the story? Like we covered, DaBaby's getting sued for allegedly sucker punching a 65-year-old rental property owner so bad the poor man allegedly lost his tooth. God damn it, bruh. DaBaby, man. Any thoughts on DaBaby doing what he does? Definitely let me know in the comment section below and like this video. Let's have a discussion about this.